George, thank you for jumping in, joining, and talking with me for a few minutes.
The pleasure is mine, Jason. Thanks for having me back.
A pleasure, absolutely a pleasure. Folks out there will know you for the Shad Hadid series, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I hope I am.
Shad Hadid.
Shad
Much,
Hadid.
yes, much,
Shad
much
Hadid.
less Arabic sounding than the book actually is, which is very Arab.
Gotcha, gotcha. All right. Well, glad that that series has taken off. We've had a second one of those, and the last time you and I were talking, we were also talking about common appreciation for graphic novels, comics, and wrestling, I believe.
Yes, lots of shared interests, it seems.
Yes, yes, yes. Uh, so what's it been like to expand on this world?
You know, the thing about writing a sequel is you hopefully know the characters so well that it feels like you're diving right back where you left off.
Mhm,
And that was definitely the case with writing Shad Hadid and the Forbidden Alchemies, which was the follow-up to Shad Hadid and the Alchemists of Alexandria.
mhm,
Now, I like to challenge myself, but also to give the reader something unexpected. With Shad Hadid and the Alchemists of Alexandria, I kind of take this magic school trope and flip it on its head.
mhm,
And
mhm,
along with that kind of practice, I wanted to change it up. And in the sequel, we take our characters to Lebanon. It's not like we necessarily stay in the school for the whole book, which in and of itself, the Alexandria Academy is a really fun place to be. But I wanted to further immerse readers in my culture, my native country,
mhm.
which is again Lebanon. And so the characters go there for a pretty chaotic adventure, full of twists and high stakes. And of course, they do find their way back to the Alexandria Academy at some point, as they must.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
it's really it was just so much fun to write what I know in the sense of the characters, but also the culture and the country.
Yeah, yeah. But I have is it alchemical, alchemy question?
Sure.
Yeah. So in terms of the perfect recipe, the perfect alchemy of a successful story, what would you want to make sure that you throw in is it a cauldron? Is that what we use?
You can say cauldron, you can say pot, you can it can
The
be as
mixing bowl. We have mixing bowls here, so
mixing
that
bowl
works well.
works.
We have mixing bowls in the kitchen, so that could work.
Sure. So in the mixing bowl of a story,
Hmm.
not that you can ever achieve perfection, but you can get pretty close, right? Um, I think the number one thing is characters who are ripe for change, right?
Hmm.
That's the number one thing because you need to have characters who are ready to go on a journey. The readers want to be taken on a journey, and the characters need to be the catalyst for that. So that's the first thing. If a character never changes throughout the story, um, it kind of feels flat. It doesn't quite resonate as much. The second thing is really good conflict because what's going to
Hmm.
make the character change without conflict? And so we need to immerse our character in a challenge, something that really tests who they are and their sense of self. And of course, stakes, right? Not
Hmm.
the food. I'm a
Right,
vegan,
right.
but why does it matter for me? Why should it matter for the character, right? And so there needs to be stakes, something that makes it so that they have skin in the game,
Hmm.
because then it
Hmm.
packs so much more of a punch, where we feel like we don't know what's going to happen, and we want the character to succeed, but we don't know, right? And that is what keeps readers interested in a story. That's what I think those three are the key ingredients for the perfect elixir, so to speak, to use
Okay.
alchemy language.
Love it, love it. May I answer a corny joke here?
Yes, please.
You know why they don't let 4-year-olds do grilling, right?
Why?
Because the stakes are too high.
Oh, that is
Yes.
that is quite
You
corny.
can tell I'm a public school teacher. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll move on from that. terrible, terrible joke to the question of what you hope readers take with them as far as ideas, as themes. I love the fantasy genre. To me, it's just the ideal space to spend time in a book. And I love that you also include elements of your life and elements of culture in the book. So, in addition to those fantastic things, any particular ideas, themes that you hope readers are thinking about when they finish?
Many, right?
Yeah.
Book
Hmm.
one really grapples with this idea of I can do it all alone. It also grapples with this kind of dualism that we live with, which is modernity, right? Technological advancement,
Hmm.
and then traditional life, and really what makes us human, and the things that we grew up appreciating, right? And it's that tension between the two. But really, the heart of the story is, can I do it all myself or not?
Hmm.
Book
Hmm.
two, right? We want to tackle something completely different. So book two is very fun because it's all about, can I be doing the right thing and still be acting selfishly?
Hmm.
Right? And so that's a challenge that Shad struggles with because he goes on this journey that is very personal, but at the same time very necessary for the world of alchemy. And yet, throughout the course of events, we tend to see him grapple with, am I doing it just for me, or am I doing it for the greater good? And what are the differences there? And I think that's a really important conversation to have because I find myself sometimes where, I think I'm doing something altruistic, but maybe it's just for me,
Right.
right? And that's
Hmm.
something that I think adults and young readers alike struggle with.
Yeah, yeah, very, very human topic, very human idea. Another alchemy question, which is
Please.
the creative process. Any particular uh, go-to places of comfort, inspiration, encouragement that you engage with in the process?
Well, I think that I I trick myself a little bit when I write. And I always start with this theme or this conflict or this growth that I
Hmm.
just described, for example, with the selfishness versus selflessness, um, or even book one, right? Can I do this all alone or do I need help? And I always start with that and I throw the character into the journey with the assumption that they're going to change to reflect whatever the answer is to that question.
Yeah, yeah.
And when it comes to actual process, though, and this folks might find funny if they've watched or listened to other podcasts or interviews I've been in, they might know. I do a lot of my drafting, a lot of my writing on my phone.
Nice, nice.
And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's a trick, as I mentioned, where my mind does not think that I'm writing. It thinks that I'm texting. And I'm
Hmm.
able to write so much quicker and make so much more progress on my phone. So, revisions, of course, I need to be in front of my computer, at my standing desk, really looking at the whole picture to get it right. But when I'm drafting, that's kind of it's really just knowing how to trick my brain to make progress at different stages of the writing journey.
Nice, nice. This reminds me of the students that I have who will be reading on their phones and doing things on their phones. I am a note taker on the phone, but that's impressive drafting an entire book on the phone.
Yeah, there's a little bit of drafting on the phone once in a while. I'll go into my computer and see just how much of a mess it is because the thing about writing on your phone is you tend to make a lot of typos.
Sure, sure. Yeah, yeah. But that also part of the process, right? Going back
Absolutely.
and cleaning up. Yeah, yeah. So I'm curious about what is next in the world of Shad Hadid. Anything that you can say about upcoming journeys, and it's totally fine if you can't, but just curious about that. And as a kind of second part to that question, what's it been like to share this character through school visits, through interactions over the past year?
Yeah, I'm gonna answer the second part first. So
Absolutely.
kids have really, part of my reasoning for writing this story is to really immerse kids in this new journey from a character, from a culture that they might not be familiar with. And that it's been so rewarding to impart that on kids, for many reasons. But first, they're excited about it, right? They're
Mhm.
here for it. They want to learn. Sometimes, you know, curriculums have the best of intentions and they want to teach kids these things, but the delivery does not quite live up to the expectation that kids
Mhm.
are needing to keep that interest. And so books are really critical, comic books too, right? As we
Mhm.
discussed
Mhm.
last time, to keeping that interest, to delivering that message. They're a great conduit for information. And so I've been able to see firsthand how these books have resonated with kids. I've been very fortunate over this past year to visit schools, to talk at conferences. It's been a busy one. And what I find every time is that the kids are very eager to dive into this world of alchemy and experience this journey through Shad's eyes, but also experience his culture along the way. And that's been
Mhm.
really
Mhm.
fun. I will say this, if this is indicative of anything, I've had several school visits where kids ahead of time, having read my books, bring in baklava, which
Love it.
is
Love it.
delicious and just really really heartening to see.
Yeah.
But going back to your first question, right? Shad is going to, after book two, we know that there is potentially more in the story to be had,
Mhm.
but Shad is currently taking a break so
As
that
he should, as he
as
should.
he
Yeah.
should, so Bashir Buttrose can have his journey highlighted. So
Mhm.
in 20 early 2025, we are going to be introduced to Bashir Buttrose and the Jewels of the Nile, right? Very much a story for those kids who grew up with Percy Jackson, know
Mhm.
about the monsters, but this takes us into kind of an Arab bend, and we just it's just nonstop action, chaos, fun, but with a totally different character because Bashir, where Shad is very confident in himself, Bashir is very reserved.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so we're exploring that journey through the lens of a different character. There's a whole new theme. And of course, there'll be a book two to that I'm working on that elevates the stakes. In addition to that, right, we have a couple of graphic novels on the way, and I'm so excited
Fantastic.
about those. Yeah, I'm so
Mhm.
excited about those. Tarek's Bizarre Adventure, folks might have noticed I don't have that much hair, right? And that's due to alopecia, this condition that I have. And so this graphic novel really tackles the journey of a character who is learning they have this condition and grappling with the symptoms of that condition. And it does it in a way that is fantastical and fun and engaging. It's not in your face. I'm so excited about that story. And we have another graphic novel that's totally different. And that one I can't yet talk about, but I will say
Very exciting.
I'll summarize in one sentence. Librarians fighting evil spirits.
As they should. I love it. Love it. Yeah. That's so full circle because you were talking about Percy Jackson, and the first person I learned about that series from was a librarian. So librarians can get things done. They really
Li-
can.
Librarians have been good to me, and they are truly one of the best parts of being an author.
Awesome. 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 Well, looking forward to the graphic novels that are on the way, the series, the multiple series. We'll say that.
Multiple series.
That's right. I love that you're creating an entire kind of landscape here. So looking forward to seeing where it goes.
Yeah, it's the multiverse. It's my
That's right.
multiverse.
That's right. Final official question is if folks out there want to contact you for school visits, see what you're creating or follow up in any way, you have a website, I
I
believe.
absolutely do. GeorgeJreije.com.
Hmm.
But if they want to reach out, simply my first and last name, George Rage, put by right before that, by, George Rage at gmail.com. That's it.
Awesome. Awesome. Fantastic. Well, George, thank you so much. Did we miss anything that you want to make sure to mention?
Nothing at all. That was fantastic.
All
Thanks.
right. All right. Well, glad to have you back anytime, and thanks again.
Glad to be here. Thanks, Jason.